Blunt Cuts is a podcast fueled by creativity, curiosity, and empowerment.
We cut through the daily mess of life. This is unfiltered honesty.
Park your passive at the door. This is Blunt Cuts. Welcome to Blunt Cuts. I'm CJ, and please welcome to the studio Nicole Jennings, owner of Queen Anna House of Fashion in Minneapolis. Welcome, Nicole.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
It's so nice to have you here today, and I know we met over Fashion Week, and I really connected with you, and I think that you just have such an authentic presence and so strong in what you do, and definitely want you to kind of share with our listeners a little bit about yourself.
Absolutely. I am a mother of four, an entrepreneur of two operating businesses. I sleep occasionally, and
Feel ya.
I know, and really passionate about what it is that I'm doing.
So today we're going to talk with Nicole all about living your purpose. And I'm so excited to hear how you kind of define this, because I know that this has been such a hard word for me to define in my life. So let's get started. Why don't you share with our listeners kind of a story and a way that you have found living your purpose?
Okay. And even just thinking of it, it's one of those things that I feel like I had to grow into. I feel like it's one of those things for me that allows me to know that I am making a difference in other people's lives. And so for me, one of the stories that I can think of that kind of shows that is, going back to my first business, which is concierge work with personal shopping and personal styling. The clientele there, it varies. Some people are, in business and they don't have time to shop, but then there's others who don't know how. And so for me, I have felt and experienced with various clients when I'm doing shopping for them or, dressing them, that 2 or 3 days later after they've worn an outfit that I've put together, it's like you get this email in your inbox and it's like, I loved my outfit. I felt so good in it.
Amazing.
It is. And then, it's one of those things where they're like, I would have never, chose that for myself, but I felt so good in it and so many compliments. So it's kind of like reassuring to them. But then for me to hear that is reassuring for me to know that I'm making a positive deposit and impact in their lives. And I feel like this is my calling. That's my purpose for doing what it is that I do.
Well, that is a fantastic, explanation of where you are. And I think I've spent several years really thinking hard about purpose. And I'm 35 now. So I think it wasn't until probably late 20s, early 30s when I started even thinking about my work and what I did every day professionally. And was I doing things that filled my cup or mattered, or how was the work? My background is design, graphic design. So it kind of came from that space and world of working in a lot of different businesses and companies, some internal, some agencies, some freelance work, always with clients, but just kind of rolling through the project, letting it roll through. And there was one moment and when it just hit me and I sat down and I'm like, what am I doing? Like, how am I making the world a better place?
Exactly.
How am I impacting what matters to me? And is this the right career in which I can make impact? And ultimately I think it is, but I knew that I needed to transition into leadership and that I wanted to use my experience as a designer to really help others not only hone their craft, but hone their purpose or their vision in their work, and make sure that there was always an emotional and human connection to what I did. And I felt sometimes the human was getting removed in what I was doing. So I had to kind of change intent and reshift focus back to this factor of connecting with humans. It's been really hard for me to separate work and life. And I think I was always kind of told you need to have this workplace, you need to have this home place, and you need to just have this separation. Mm-hmm. So I tried for so long to have this separation. And I even remember sitting down with a therapist, and she, I'm sharing my anxieties and my stresses, and she's like, you need to slow down. You're doing too many things. You're too busy. And that was the moment in which I'm like, no, I don't need to slow down. I need to maybe focus.
Yeah.
But I also need to stop with this preconceived notion that work and family or work and life needs to be separate, because it doesn't. And if I'm working in a passionate space that I deeply care about, work and life have to commingle. They can't be separate. I can't separate them. So when I got to that revelation, with that, it became a lot easier. So what I figured out is I just needed to have some focus points, right? So in this idea of having no real reason to separate the two, I think that gave me the permission personally to say that sometimes things will need more focus than the other. So sometimes I'll need to focus on my work, and maybe my family is doing all right if I need to focus on my work. Or sometimes I'm going to need to focus on my family. I think sick kids, something like that. So then I need to put focus there. But it's not separation. It's more of taking that time day by day and what needs that energy and focus more. And sometimes it's my kids because they have something awesome going on, or it's our family, or we're on vacation and I want to be present in that moment.
Right.
Or sometimes it's the work and I'm on a huge project and I need to be present in that moment. And I can bring my kids along through that journey, and I can show them the way through that passion and work, but it doesn't have to be separate. So that was a huge experience for me to help find purpose.
I think that balance isn't always equal, right? And I think that there's really no true sense of balance when it comes to living a purposeful life, because that's your driving factor. And for someone to be passionate about something and you are very motivated to make a impact in one area, you can't focus in one area and think that the other side is as focused as that, because it's just not possible. So like you said, I think obviously everyone's situation is different, but I think that the focus thing was the key, because I was
trying so hard to balance them and have them have the same and have this equilibrium. And once I just realized it's not about that, and that's a journey I don't need to struggle through.
I think that that's something that, like you said, that we grew up understanding, that work-life balance, and there is balance in life. And no, it's about being focused at what needs your attention at the time. And I agree. So I agree with what you're saying for sure.
Yeah, and once I found my passions and really started working in areas that meant something to me, it's all just part of life.
Exactly.
And it's not
exactly.
I don't have a job.
Exactly. You're living life.
I am
living your best life. Exactly.
And portions of that I'm getting paid for. Portions I'm not.
But one of the things that you mentioned that is really key for me, especially I've got 4 children, but 3 of my older are girls. And I think that for me, it was important for me to not put that balance stressors on them, but to show them that mommy's doing something that I'm passionate about and something that I feel like I've been brought here for. And so that instead of doing what we got done to us, we're about the balance. It's no, find your passion. What were you brought here for? What are you going to leave when you're not here anymore? And so it's been really interesting to try to teach that to the children, my children now, at an early age, so that hopefully when they get to be our age, 35, 36, that they don't have that struggle, because they live something different.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I really love parenting that way too, and showing my daughter the ropes. She's 9, so being able to kind of take her with me, and she's helped from a styling perspective.
Yep.
She knows how to clean shoes, and she's learned some maintenance of wardrobe, and she I've
love it.
Put her to work. She understands loading the car, what it's like. And she's starting to really get interested in this media side of things.
That's
too.
awesome.
And I just love sharing my passions with her,
Yeah.
but I also love helping her explore hers.
Exactly.
And how, I have this natural inclination to make everything a business.
Right, me too.
And
I get it.
I have to try to park my entrepreneur, but she has the bug too. And so she'll come to me and I'll be like, okay, well, this needs a website.
Yes.
This. And
I get it.
Oftentimes I'm like, okay, wait, she's just sharing this passion with me and I need to like park my excitement. But I want her to know that if she wanted to make it a business,
It's doable.
I got her and we can do this and we have this together.
Oh, trust me. I have a mini me and we do the same.
So it's so rewarding to see them feel comfortable sharing their passions. And I don't know if I had that outlook as a child. And I think I come from a pretty blue collar family. My mom is a school lunch lady. My stepdad drives semi-truck. So they definitely had jobs that they came home and they were like, all right, done with work for the weekend. This is good. And then I'll go back to work on Monday. And I just never really wanted that. I think seeing that, I'm like, there's got to be another way to get paid, but to do it in a way that I'm not having a case of the Mondays or I'm not to say that we, don't have those days that are rough even when you're in passion work. Oftentimes there's more sleepless nights and there's more of that impact on your life, right? But
yeah.
It's less of this idea of work starts and stops on a time clock.
Yeah, for sure. And it's variable.
Anything we can do to share with our listeners on lessons we've learned in this space of living your purpose? I'd love for you to share a lesson that you have
Oh my gosh.
learned in this process.
I should write a book.
You should.
I mean, it's one of those things where I learn a lesson every day on a multitude of levels. But I think that for me, from the standpoint of purpose, I feel like when you are living a purposeful life and you are doing work and you feel that it is a part of who you are and the legacy that you're trying to leave, it's really important to be authentic. And know what it is that you're doing from the aspect of being focused, not being everything for everyone, not doing everything in your niche or in your business, being very hyper-focused on that one thing and doing it your way. One of the things that in retail, obviously, in small business for sure, there's a lot of the same. And it's being done by different people, obviously, but it's still a lot of the same. And I feel like we're so unique and so different. And we're all, we have gifts and talents that we've been blessed with that if we don't tap into them from the way that we've been given them, we're doing a disservice to the people around us that need that, right? So for me, in my space, I do concierge work. That's one business. But then within that, I also have my storefront, which is Queen Anna House of Fashion. And so for me, it's about empowering women from the inside out. And being able to clothe them, but then also have another level of assistance with the concierge service. So if you don't know how to style and things of that nature. But essentially, I'm focused on the woman, that person. And I feel like, and I've trained my stylist to think of it in that way. Obviously, sales are really important, right? When you're running a business.
You have to keep the lights on.
Exactly. But essentially, if I'm thinking about my purpose, it's one of those things where I'm going to do what is properly branded and properly aligned with, our focus, and I'm not going to worry about what the next person is doing, and I'm not going to try and take something that I see someone else doing that is a great idea and try to make it into something that I can do
that wouldn't be authentic to your brand.
Exactly.
That's so important.
Exactly. And I think that's something that a lot of times people go into business and it's just like, oh, I can do it better than them. I'm sure you could. There's going to always be someone better, but is that what you're called to do? Is that what you're supposed to be doing? And and to make an impact in the society, in the community around you. Because if it's not, it's like you're going to be on this, like the gerbil wheel thing, right? Mm-hmm. Or like the rainbow wheel on the computer. That's what life is going to feel like. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I noted is that, you know, even in my hardest times, in my roughest patches of owning businesses, I wouldn't trade it in for the world, because I know I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And it makes all the difference.
That's awesome. No, thank you. Yeah, no, that is such a great point. And staying true to your purpose is all about authentically to you and what that is, and trying to turn down the noise around you. So if you're sitting there listening and you're saying, I don't know what my purpose is, from my perspective, you're in good company, because I don't really know what mine is either. However, for me, purpose has been more of a drive and a feeling than something I can tangibly put my stake on the ground that my purpose is ... You know, I think that it's changed for me. I can tell you my focus lies in a few different buckets. And I really took this time, like I had said, you know, I hit 30 and I was like, what the heck am I doing with my career? What am I doing that matters? And so for me, those are caring for, respecting, and listening to other humans for where they are and who they are. Creating with my heart and my hands. I am a creator by nature. And then sharing my perspective and self openly and authentically with others. So if I'm not falling into one of those spaces of my human connection and really respecting people for who they are and where they come from and where they are today, creating, because I need to constantly be creating and using my hands and my heart. And then if I'm not coming to the table as who I am, like I'm just not fulfilling that vision of where things are. So that's kind of where I came. And then it's made it easier to say, no, that project just doesn't fit in that's a great idea. And that's an awesome opportunity, but somebody else is better suited for it because it doesn't fit in one of my really broad buckets that I've kind of created. But those are the things when I sat down and thought about it. And I do think you have to think about it. You have to think about your purpose and what you are here for.
Absolutely.
And for me, that came down to, I don't quite know what exactly it is yet, other than those are the ways that I'm going to get there.
Absolutely. Those are your filters.
Yeah,
like you filter everything in through that. And that's great that you do that, because otherwise you feel, you get through the day and you're drained, right? You don't feel that sense of fulfillment that I made an impact today.
Yeah, I literally sat down and said, what fills my bucket? What drains my bucket?
Yeah.
Like, what are the things that if I hear something back from somebody like, wow, thanks for listening, you know, like that fills my bucket.
Yeah.
Or you had an impact on me, or I didn't think about it that way.
Exactly.
Like, thank you so much. Or wow, what you created is really awesome and beautiful, and I've never seen anything like that.
Exactly.
Like, those were things that filled my bucket.
Yep.
So that knowing that those were the things that kept my mental health in check, knowing those are the things that kept me going and thriving, like those are the things I need to do more about, because that's who I am.
Right. Yes. And then at the end of the day, you're going to be able to know that you've impacted somebody, but they've also impacted you, right? Like they're filling your bucket, like doing this work, you're putting output, but then the fact that you're getting that feedback that you've done something right to help somebody else, like that then fulfills you. And that's kind of like a refill, like a refuel.
Absolutely. And it's so holistic for me. So living your purpose is a very holistic life.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much, Nicole, for hanging out with us today.
Oh, it was a pleasure.
Where can people find you?
Well, you can find me at queenanna.co website. OnePoshCloset.com, and we are Queen Anna Living on all social platforms.
Fantastic. And let's continue the conversation about living your purpose. We'd really love to hear from you. You can find us at Blunt Cuts Podcast.